Tesla bounced off of major support once again today. And even though earnings was nothing really crazy, we can see that buyers are stepping in and respecting this support level at $420, which is exactly the level that we said we would need to hold. Now, over the past month, we've seen over $100 million worth of call options come into the options market. More importantly, today, we saw even more calls come through, this time with a strike price of $550 and an expiration date of 1/16/2026. And in this video, I'm going to give you guys an update on my thoughts for Tesla, why I'm still bullish, and we're going to go over this Alpha Gold flow. My name is Peter DiCarlo. I've been a full-time trader and investor for the past 11 years. I've grown my fund to over $5.6 million in profits using a very simple two-step trading system. I don't care about the fundamentals of a company. I don't even care how they make money. The only thing that I care about is that my technical signals are in the market. And if they're there, I'll very simply take a trade. Now, we've been trading Tesla for a very long time now. Basically, if we go out to this monthly time frame, we really started to focus on this stock back here in June of 2024. If we go into my trading dashboard and we actually just search all of our returns for Tesla alone, so far in just the past 2 years, we've closed out almost $2 million with a 65% win rate and a risk versus reward of 2.3. And if we actually look at our cumulative profit and loss, you're going to notice that we didn't touch Tesla really at all through most of 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. And like we said, didn't really focus on this until 2024 in the summer. Now, the main reason for that is if we look at the monthly time frame, this is where we flipped from dark red to light red and structure began to shift on the BX trender. This is an indication from a macro perspective that we are going into a bull cycle. And that's why I've been focusing on this stock so much in the past couple of years. And I've been making so many videos on this stock. Now, we played this breakout here from 2024 to 2025, and then we've been playing this most recent breakout since price pulled back into the smart money zone back in April of 2024. Since then, price, even though it compressed for the summer, has just been continuing to break out to the upside. And if you remember, if you're somebody who was watching our videos back in the summer, during this compression, during all this sideways movement, we were seeing hundreds of millions of dollars worth of call options come through on the options market. And this is normally a very good sign that institutions are expecting a stock to break out, because when price is sitting sideways and compressing and we're getting all of these buying, it means that they think the stock is going to move. Maybe they have some sort of insider information, or maybe they're just fundamentally bullish. Now, one of the biggest questions that I get from people is, if there are all of these call options coming through, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of calls, how come the stock isn't moving? And the reason for that is the underlying asset, the stock itself, will always affect the price of the option, but the option itself will never, unless it's, well, I shouldn't say never, rarely, unless it's a gamma squeeze, will rarely actually affect the price of the stock. And so this is where we can get that indiscrepancy, because if there's hundreds of millions of dollars worth of calls coming through and the stock is not going to move, that's normally a sign that they're expecting a breakout. If we move into the daily chart here, you're going to see that price has just been compressing and sitting sideways basically since the breakout in April. And our thesis has been that if this support level of $420 holds, that we should continue to break out to the upside. And the fact that this support level has held and buyers are continuing to step in on the options market, it's a good sign that the breakout is going to happen. Now, if we look at this indicator here to the right side of your screen, it's called the volume profile, one of my favorite indicators. You can get our specific volume profile indicator for free in the courses down below under step 3. When there is a thin area of volume on the volume profile, basically from 350 up to 420, and from here, 440 up to 500, once we move into those levels, price breaks out very, very quickly. Or if it's to the downside, price will break down very, very quickly. And even though price hit this support level of 420, it bounced very fast, which means that as we come up into this resistance point, if we can sweep 450 this week into next week, we could see a move to $500 and $530. Now, there were a lot of people, because I made a long-winded post about what I thought was going to happen to Tesla post earnings, saying it was going to hit $500. They got like upset yesterday, right? And the first thing is like, We're not always right. Like traditionally, we're only right like 55 to 65% of the time. But I didn't necessarily mean that we were going to hit $500 that day or the next day, right? I think we gave like a 7 to 10 day outlook. And I still think that that can happen, right? We haven't confirmed anything. We haven't pushed through either liquidity zone, but we are coming up to test this one more time, which means there's a good chance that we're going to hit $500, in my opinion, pretty damn soon. Now, if we zoom out to a weekly time frame, there's also something else I want you to take a look at, and that is going to be the BX trender at the bottom of your screen. This indicator, one of my favorite indicators, probably the one you see me use the most, shows buy and sell pressure. You can get access to that indicator under step 1 in our trading course. When the indicator is green, and more importantly, when it's bright green, it means that buyers are overtaking the macro market, which is very important because if we actually look at the times that this has happened, last time this occurred, we got a 130% move, followed by about a 30% move, and now another 50+% move if this breakout continues. Once again, another solid sign. And then finally, if we zoom out on the monthly chart, you can see that that BX trender is also green. Now we are going to talk about all of the options that have been coming through. And this chart is going to be a little bit wacky to understand, but I've gone through and I've highlighted all of the alerts that have come through in the past month, month and a half, and I've tagged them on the exact day in which that flow hit. And so you can see the expirations are as short as 11/21/2025 and as far out as like April of 2026. We even have crazy ones like September 18, 2026 with a $940 strike price. So as we said before, price is compressing. All of this buying is happening. It's a really good sign that they're loading up before another move to the upside. Now, if we go into our web application, the THT heat map, this is a web app that all of my students in the Discord community get access to. And you can actually go through and look at all of the unusual options that have actually come through on not only Tesla, but any stock. And these options flows are ones that I personally tag as important because 99% of options are worthless, especially options flow. There's really only about 1% of all of that noise that I deem important. And if you want to learn what that specific criteria is in order to be deemed important by me, you can take the Options Flow Mastery course, which is free under step 4. Now, the most recent calls that came through today were for 1/16/2026. So January expiration. These are definitely somebody who's doing a swing. You can see the strike price was $550. It came in when price is trading at $441.02. So this option's already up about 15%. And you're going to see it was for a lot of money. I mean, we're talking in total at least $10 to $15 million. And it meets all of the criteria that we talk about in the Options Flow Mastery course. We have size, millions and millions and millions of dollars. We have time, expiration till 1/16/2026, and we have urgency. This little detail at the end of all of these calls, _A_AA, that's the most important thing that we care about because it means that they are buying it at the ask or above the ask, which means they're showing urgency, they want to get into the trade, and they're willing to overpay for it. And so this is a very good sign that price is going to continue to break out. Now, some of the craziest calls that we can actually search for here go all the way out to 2026 and 2027 with some crazy expiration dates and strikes. This call here came in last month. This one expires 12/17/2027. Strike price on this one, $860. So an institution or a whale is betting $3 million that it's going to be at $860 by 2027, potentially even higher. Another crazier one came in 9 days ago, which we covered on this channel. This one expires 12/17/2027. This one has about $5 million worth of calls with a strike price of $910, $900, and $940. So this is all a really good sign that they are expecting an insane breakout over the next 6 to 12 months. Now, if we go back into my heat map and student portal, you actually go into my portfolio data and you'll see that I am still holding on to my call options. I currently have 15 Tesla 4/17/2026 call options at an average price of $50.80, and I'll continue to hold on to these. My upside targets still remain over the next couple of months. We initially had a $500 target by end of year. I think that that is going to happen. Best case scenario from there over the next 3 to 6 months would be a push all the way up to $660. If that happens, basically what we saw happen in December of 2024, that is where I will remove my bullish thesis entirely on Tesla. Because at that point, it's very rare that we ever hit this 2x deviation band, which is this red band up here. But when we do, price normally rejects very quickly. So I hope this video helped, guys. As always, go check out all of our courses. They're free. Link is in the description. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.